You're scrolling through another endless list of best massage chairs and you're probably wondering if any of them actually live up to the hype, or if you're just going to end up with a pricey piece of furniture that looks cool but never really helps you unwind after a long day. I get it, spending a few $1,000s on something you'll use maybe a few times a week feels like a gamble, especially when the market is flooded with flashy claims and glossy videos. You want to know if this particular model can really replace a weekly spa visit, if it'll fit in your living room without turning the space into a gym, and whether the comfort lasts beyond the first month of use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The iBooMas 2026 4D Full Body Massage Chair tries to position itself as the all-in-one solution for home recovery, stress relief, and even a little luxury. It's marketed with a space capsule zero-gravity posture, an SL track that supposedly follows the natural curve of your spine, heating for the back and calves, and 4 different ways to control the whole thing from a handheld remote to a smartphone app via Bluetooth. Those sound like the right ingredients, but the real question is how they come together when you actually sit down after a 10-hour shift, a tough workout, or just a rainy evening on the couch. Let's start with the Space Capsule Zero Gravity feature. The idea is to tilt the seat so your legs are raised above heart level, which in theory reduces pressure on the spine and improves circulation. I've seen a lot of chairs promise this, but the iBooMas actually tilts the entire frame back about 30 degrees, giving you that floating feeling without feeling like you're about to tip over. For people who suffer from lower back tension, especially desk workers, that tilt can make a noticeable difference. When you're already hunched over a laptop, the Recline gently pulls you out of that posture, and the SL track then starts its massage along the length of the back. Because the track follows the natural curvature, you get coverage from the neck down to the lower lumbar area, rather than just a few preset nodes that miss the gaps. In my own test, after a 3-hour driving stint, the chair seemed to hit the tight spot just past the shoulder blades where I usually get a knot. It wasn't a deep tissue therapist's pressure, but the rhythmic rolling combined with the heat was enough to loosen the muscle enough that I could stretch afterward without pain. Heat is another big selling point. The iBooMas includes back and calf heating, which is something you don't see on every mid-range chair. The warmth is subtle at first, like a warm towel, and it builds over the first couple of minutes. For folks with chronic calf tightness, think runners, cyclists, or even people who stand all day, having that heat on the calves while the back is being worked on adds a nice holistic feel. I tried it after a bike ride. The heat helped relax the gastrocnemius muscles, and when the massage cycle moved on to the lower back, the combined effect felt like a mini physiotherapy session. Control options are where the iBooMas tries to differentiate itself. There's a handheld remote that's fairly intuitive. One button toggles the program, another adjusts intensity, and you can scroll through the 12 automatic programs or dive into the 6 manual modes. Then there's a wall-mounted panel for those who want a more permanent fixture, and a smartphone app that connects over Bluetooth. I tested the app on a noisy day, and while the connection was reliable, the app's UI felt a bit cramped. You can still set the program, adjust intensity, and turn the heat on, but you'll spend a few extra seconds tapping the right icon compared to the remote. If you're someone who loves to have everything on your phone, the app works, but it isn't a game changer. The fourth control method is voice activation through a limited set of commands, mostly start, stop, and increase intensity. It's a neat novelty, but in practice I found the chair sometimes missed the cue when my voice was a bit muffled by the fabric. Now, let's talk about the practical side of owning a chair this size. The iBooMas measures roughly 38 inches wide, 70 inches deep, and 44 inches high when upright. That's a solid footprint, which means you need a dedicated corner or a room where you can afford a piece the size of a small sofa. The base is fairly heavy, easily 300 pounds with the frame and electronics, so moving it once it's placed can be a chore. If you live in a tight apartment or plan to move frequently, you might want to consider a more compact model. On the flip side, the chair's design does a decent job of blending into a modern living room. The white upholstery is clean, and the sleek lines don't scream gym equipment. It's the kind of piece you could actually leave out rather than hide behind a curtain.